Every day, thousands of people traveling on U.S. Highway 50 pass by the El Dorado County Government Center. Many will notice the impressive array of flags at the east end of the complex. But how many know what lies on the other side of the wall at the base of the flagpoles?
Welcome to the El Dorado County Veterans Monument. I'm Gary Campbell, President of the El Dorado County Veterans Alliance. It's our privilege to present each Memorial Day and each Veterans Day a ceremony here at this very special place. It opened in 2006 as a result of a promise made on the battlefields of Vietnam. Today we want to introduce you to the monument. We want you to see how special of a place it is. While the monument is used primarily for services on Memorial Day and Veterans Day, it is open all year round, 24/7. There's many times when people come up here, they'll sit on one of the benches, they'll just reflect. They'll see the bricks, names of family and friends. They'll look at the mountains above, and they'll just know what a really special place this is. Today we'll learn about the benches, we'll learn about the architecture, we'll learn all about this very special place. I choose to call it one of the jewels in the crown of El Dorado County.
Upon entering the pathway to the monument, you will readily notice some of the thousands of memorial bricks. Locating a family member or acquaintance's brick has been made easier as a result of an Eagle Scout project, one of 2 at the monument to date. Simply place your smartphone against the QR navigator and follow instructions.
Now let's meet Captain John Poimeru, United States Navy retired.
On visiting the El Dorado County Veterans Monument grounds, many are struck by the beauty and serenity. A good place to sit and reflect upon those who served is one of the benches that are located around the grounds. There are benches that represent individuals, units, wars, heroism, and in particular, the most recent benches that were installed are benches that honor those who served during the Vietnam War and the wars of the late 20th and 21st centuries. The Vietnam War bench includes all 33 sons who were lost, gave their lives during that conflict. What's interesting to note that since 1975, when the Vietnam War ended, there have been more campaign ribbons and medals issued for wars and conflicts than in all the wars of the 20th century, including World War I, World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. There are 19 benches at the El Dorado County Veterans Monument. 18 of them are exactly alike. They're made out of the same granite used on the headstones at Arlington National Cemetery in Virginia. There's one, however, that stands alone. It's made of black granite, and it says POW MIA, Prisoner of War, Missing in Action. It stands alone because prisoners of war are left alone when they're in custody, and MIA should never be forgotten, though they remain alone.
Since the inaugural ceremony in 2006, the monument has been a continual work in progress. Better lighting with motion sensors for after-dusk visits, bleachers to accommodate just some of the hundreds that attend each ceremony, large umbrellas for use when the sun and temperature dictate, a special tree that is decorated each year for the holiday season, and much more.
Here's Lieutenant Commander Peter Wolf, United States Coast Guard retired. He was the architect of this very special plate, and he's going to tell us about how it came about and what was done to make it the special place it is.
I want to impart a little insight on how it got designed the way it is. This planter was always intended to be planted with annual plants, so that annually we as a veterans community, and specifically and the greater community at large, would be here retending to these plants and reminding ourselves of how important it is to never lose connection with what the veterans have created for the United States. We always thought that this walkway would be demarcated by these dedication bricks that are dedicated to our friends, family, and loved ones. Here, still not utilized, but it's kind of in the works, On either side here, you'll see these rather dull-looking metal plates. These are the time capsule areas for the monument, and there's some plans afoot to complete that work for the monument. Continuing this approach arrival sequence, you end up in the Circle of Honor. Over time, the concept of what bricks went where changed a little bit. This was originally envisioned as what it sounds like, the Circle of Honor for people that had the highest military decorations. Over time, we had such a flood of brick requests that we had to use this space for that. The Circle of Honor was also intended, and works are in progress to complete this. It'll be the last big piece of the original monument design. The Circle of Honor is supposed to be included an inscribed globe. The idea being that a veteran or a veteran's family, or unfortunately a veteran's survivors, could stand there and point to a map, a spot on a map, and say, that's where Grandpa was, or that's where Grandma was. So continuing the approach arrival sequence, you arrive at the beginning of the Circle Plaza, is what we've always called it, and I always like to point out to people to look down, because everybody obviously, their focus is right on the wall with the inscription to honor those who have served the cause of freedom, because that's the most important concept we're displaying here. But I wanted people to stop right here and look at the floor surface, because there's a radar screen in there. Because most of us, no matter which service you were in, there was radar involved in what was happening in the modern era. So I wanted to point that out. And then most people, when they visit the monument, they come right up to the main inscription. And that's the first thing people do, is they go up there and they usually read it and touch it up close, and then they step back. The view from the middle of the plaza includes, most importantly, the back wall of the monument, which, if you'll notice, is sloped in such a way to match the ridge line beyond the monument. Step forward, now we have the service flags, and then we have the individual service commemorative plaques. And this is just a really important spot I urge you to come check it out when you come to the monument. Obviously, the centerpiece of the entire monument is the main inscription here, which I've always really enjoyed the fact that it reflects the viewers. It reflects the community at large, not just veterans. Everybody is in that reflection. And then if you notice, the bottom of the plaque was designed that way to just help localize the monument, because that's paying homage to the ridge line out there. Obviously, one of the focal points of the monument is the main inscription, which is really has meaning for all of us, because in addition to this nice inscription, this stone came from a quarry that was used to help quarry the stone for Mount Rushmore in South Dakota. So we thought it was really special and important to have that connection to other American and military heroes, and just to kind of put a stake in the ground and make that connection to American history. Because we do have that here. We have veterans honored here going all the way back to the French and Indian Wars. It goes way back, and all the conflicts ever since. So here we are standing at the center of the Circle of Honor. It's really an important spot in the design of the monument, because everything else got located based on the center of what would come to the Circle of Honor. A really important thing to know about the Circle of Honor is during construction, we had multiple people bring memorabilia and, most importantly, some sand that was harvested from the Normandy beaches, where, as you know, the D-Day landings took place. So there's some of that dirt that was so hard won by the forces of freedom, and it's right here. How special is that, to have that right here in the center of our community?
Since opening in 2006, the El Dorado County Veterans Monument has been a welcoming place. Military or support personnel returning from service should be welcomed with open arms and gratitude expressed for their service. All too often, this is not the case. Coming soon, most likely in 2023, the El Dorado County Veterans Monument will present life-size Welcome Home statuary. The man and woman service members will be enthusiastically greeted by the family pet dog. Attending a ceremony at the El Dorado County Veterans Monument is a moving and memorable experience. Ceremonies begin with a flyover of World War II aircraft. A parade of flags carried by Cub Scouts, Boy and Girl Scouts, and veterans, sometimes numbering over 100. Followed by the presentation of colors. Pledge of Allegiance led by selected veterans. The national anthem featuring for the last decade the Ponderosa High Chamber Choir, an invocation, and a missing man flyover. And that's just the beginning. All of this in a setting unlike any other.